listen, looking at my clock, I can tell that it's the holiday season. And with the holiday season comes, like, you know, traditions, like watching a film, reading a book. You know, you do it every year because it's tradition. Now, I have a tradition, and I used to watch the Polar Express every year with my older brother, which, you know, why not? The Polar Express is fun. I love that film. It's fun, it's nostalgic, it's great. However, we do have another film on the table, one that's a little less fun. In fact, I would go as far to describe it as a sci-fi dystopian slasher horror home invasion flick with a lot of red. Hardware released in 1990. It was written and directed by Richard Stanley, who you probably know as the person who didn't direct The Island of Dr. Moreau. When the film came out, it was met with, like, fairly mixed reviews, you know, nothing major, nothing terrible. It's just like, it's one of those films that when it came out, it just kind of slipped under the radar. Because of that, it's gone down as a slightly more obscure film. Sure, it's not like the most obscure film you'll ever find, but it's not like fucking Titanic or some shit. There's a plane above me. So that's why I'm here today, to, like, you know, give it some recognition, because I fucking love this film. Before the actual review starts, I would like to make it known that I'm usually not a big fan of repressing something and, like, giving it a new cover. I own the special edition, not as a flex. It was the only physical copy I could find of the film. And because of that, I got a reprinted cover, and again, usually I'm not a huge fan of them, but this one I'll give a pass because it's just meh. It's fine. Like every other cover for the film isn't great. They just suffice. Even like the other repressing, because there's a lot of repressing in this film. Speaking of special edition, because I have it, I get like what I assume are cards of concept art. I think. Don't quote me on that. I also have a little booklet that gives behind the scenes information and also has the comic that the film was loosely inspired by in it, which is pretty cool. I just find that neat. I do have one gripe with like the packaging as a whole, and this isn't just with the special edition, this is with every single edition. The tagline, "There is a new endangered species, man," that is wrong. Have they not seen the movie? Because that is literally a plot point that man is not endangered. Well, maybe they were and I just didn't realise. I don't know. I didn't do much research. I just looked at IMDb and that's about it, and watched the film, you know. Basically what every reviewer does. Rant over. Movie time. I know it's bad to start off with a complaint already, but that title card, man, why does it look like that? It just looks like spaghetti. That's literally all I had written down in the script, is that it looks like spaghetti. And it looks like macaroni and cheese craft. Like, you put it up on your fridge or some shit. It doesn't... I'm not a fan. Also, why did they place it there? They could have literally placed it right here, you know, where the audio thing is, which would, you know, like, kind of suggest the title card. You know, I'm not going to complain about a fucking title card. It's a title card. You know, it's not bad. Well, okay, yeah, it is. It is pretty bad. But, you know, it's a title card. What are you going to do? The film was made, like, 30 years ago. They're not going to change it. But yeah, that's our basic introduction to the film. In that, like, from all the clips that you've seen, that's basically the introduction to the film. It looks nice. I'll give it that. A lot of orange. I don't really need to talk about it because there's literally nothing to talk about. Except the Zone Tripper, who is played by Carl McCoy. I think. Carl McCoy. Did you know I didn't rehearse this? I bet you did. Carl McCoy, who's a musician. So yeah, and that kind of happens a lot in this film. Well, a lot, I mean 3 times. musicians make cameos. For example, there's a DJ character called Angry Bob, played by Iggy Pop. Fucking hell. Pop off. It's a good joke. Let's skip ahead till we meet our main characters, shall we? Like, first, we've got Mo, who's played by Dylon McDermott, and is kind of like this macho, every 90s movie protagonist, A-team kind of guy. And you got his mate Shades, who is Irish.
It's the same every time, man. The minute I'm back on Earth, I just want to be out in space again.
Shades is also the second best character in this film. Trust me, we will see the first. Just hold on a moment. After a brief introduction of our characters, we follow them into a shop where they meet Alvy, and we get our first mention that this is a Christmas movie.
It's Christmas Eve, Alvy.
He said it, it counts. It counts, and I'm not taking that back. We cut to another character, Jill, and she is an artist. Now, let me quickly just talk about my biggest complaint with this film, and that is this clock. This clock drives me mad. It moves 5 seconds, right, every 1 second. And there's like, okay, sure, might just be an aesthetical choice for the clock. But when it hits the hour mark, it fucking dings an alarm, which suggests that in this universe, every 1 second is 5 seconds. And it's just, why? Why the fuck does it do that? Moving on to Lemmy! We love Lemmy. Motorhead Lemmy. I'm not funny. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm fucking not funny at all. Can we just take a brief moment to appreciate this film's, like, general aesthetic? It's just, like, it's so red and orange, and it feels so lived in and grungy. It's like, whoa, you can kind of see where most of the budget went. Actually, what is the budget? Okay. Right. That's not a lot. Trust me, this budget is going to get way more impressive.
Good. Keep it up. When I'm not around, see nothing happens to her.
Okay, man.
Well, I'm sure nothing bad's gonna happen to you, my good friend. I winked, but I think my hair might have been in the way. Sorry. Eventually, both Jill and Mo have a reunion, and, like, it goes fairly well, because it starts with her blanking him, and then moves on to fairly graphic sex. Yeah. I can't show any of this, can I? To be fair, it kind of fits with the film's theming of, like, human nature, population control, stuff like that. Speaking of which, we technically meet the Mark 13 for the first time. Sure, we saw it earlier, like, right at the start of the film, but this is where it turns on. Not the greatest time to turn on for a population control robot, but, you know, you gotta do your job, I guess. We also get to meet the best fucking character of the film, Lincoln Weinberg Jr. And with a name like that, you kind of wonder who he's based off. When we first see him, he is mid-pocket wank, taking photos of Jill and Mo's fairly gratuitous sex. So, you know, he ain't a nice guy. He's not a guy you can trust. Like, Jim'll fix it. You just love to hate this guy, you know. Lincoln's played by William Hootkins, who you probably, definitely, most likely know him from Star Wars when he played Porkins. You know, the guy who didn't have it under control. Sadly, Hootkins passed away in 2005, and it's just like, why does it always have to be the cool guys who go? You know, but he left one hell of a character behind, I'll give him that. Let's see what makes this guy so easy to hate, you know? Firstly, taking pictures of them naked without their consent, that's bad. Secondly, hanging up people's shoes, of which children's are amongst. I don't like that. Thirdly, what the fuck is that thing? Sorry? Care to explain? I don't like that. Let's check in on Alvy, shall we? Alvy was played by Mark Northover, who is also sadly no longer with us. He passed away in 2004. But right now, Alvy's just fucking about with the Mark 13 right now. He calls Mo up to like tell him that the Mark 13's a funky piece of work. And is that Mac McDonald? Is that fucking Captain Hollister? Neat. As Mo goes out to see Alvy, he leaves Jill on her own with the robot, which... it's fine, it's just a head, it can't hurt her. I stand corrected, it can hurt her. Look at it rebuild itself. And listen, I don't know which fucker thought it would be funny to give the population control robot a dick, but give that man a raise. It was probably Richard Stanley. Knowing him, it was most definitely Richard Stanley. There's a genuinely tense scene here with Jill and the Mark 13, like interspersed with Mo and a magic tape recorder. Trust me, this film gets weirder. Mo tries to call Jill because he finds Alvy dead, and he realises that, holy shit, that head in her apartment is not good. So he calls Shades, which doesn't go too well, because earlier in the film, he took some, like, bath salts or something, and he's fucking tripping balls. Back with Jill, we see her scouring around her apartment, looking for the robot or an exit, because, you know, who wouldn't look for an exit in a situation like this? If you say you wouldn't, you are wrong. When she does find the exit, she is met face to face with...
Hi.
Yeah! Creepy dude locked himself in a room with a young woman. No! But it's fine. This dude installed the security system on the doors. Because if you ever want anyone to be able to access any security things, you always want someone trustworthy, don't you? There's a government joke in there somewhere.
You smoke a lot of dope.
Yep, you're right, Lincoln.
I give people dope sometimes when they come around to my place and it gets them hard.
Oh, and I bet they're 13, you sick fuck. You know, it's gone a bit quiet. For a horror film, you'd expect it to be a bit more loud. Usually robots make quite a lot of noise, and... That was fucking awesome! Bro, the sex offender has his dick drilled into by a population control robot. That is the best death I have ever seen. Anyway, back with Jill, she realises that the robot is seeing in infrared and hides in a fridge. I'm pretty sure this was a plot point in Tremors 2. Eventually Shades comes up and does save her just before the robot can grab her. Saves her in her veiny feet. No idea why her feet are so veiny. The distraction is long enough for Jill to get out of the fridge and use a canister of propane to blow the robot up, and her flat's kitchen. That's gonna cost a lot of money, Jill. Also, I fucking love this shot of the mirror. It just looks so neat. And finally, the robot is vanquished, and she opens the door to reveal her boyfriend with a shotgun, because guess what? The robot's not dead yet. The other characters that accompany Mo and Shades are Vernon and Chief, played by Paul McKenzie and Oscar James. These guys are two side characters that we've met like twice before, so they're not that important. I'm not hinting at anything. Anyway, surprise, the robot's still alive. Again. Third time's the fucking charm, I guess. And Jill's dead. Oh look, well, there's my favourite shot of the film. Now, back to the film, because it's about to get weird as fuck, because Mo's just been injected with a neurotoxin, which we learnt from when Alvy died. And he's about to start tripping balls. Bugs.
No, light, spot, light, fire, no, head, hold head, together, together.
Oh shit, Jill's alive. Anyway, Mo's dead. Didn't see that coming. And speaking of deaths I didn't see coming... I like the little fall shades it does. It just adds weight to the scene. Cutting back with Jill, we see that she's trying to make contact with the M.A.R.K. You know, the robot that killed her boyfriend. And she does make contact. And, you know, for a robot it has an awful lot of personality. In that it's constantly just like trying to intimidate her. And like, it parrots things to her. And also the last line it says is, "I want to live." Which is something I don't think robots are supposed to do. That I know of. Don't quote me on that, I'm not a robot. That I know of. Now we enter the film's climax. Sure, something that's happened quite a few times. It's nice to finally be able to see clearly. Like, we can actually finally get a good look at the robot and it looks sick. Again, that budget, fucking miracle, I tell you. Getting back on track, Shades jumps through the slidey doors that cut Chief in half. And he points Vernon's gun to the robot's head. And I know what you're saying, he takes an awful long time to shoot, but I would like to remind you that this man is on one hell of a come down. So he does eventually shoot, but he misses, and almost takes Jill's fucking hand off. Again, he is on a hell of a come down, give him a break. Of course, when he does shoot and nearly hit her hand, she turns the shower on and it takes out the M.A.R.K, because as we remember, it's allergic to water. Don't know why I said allergic there. I could have said any other word and it probably would have been better. So yeah, M.A.R.K.'s dead. Fucking finally. And Jill, you can calm down, lass. It's dead. Jill, the M.A.R.K.'s dead. You can... Fuck's sake. And that was Hardware. Overall, I'd say it's a great film. Nay, a great Christmas film. Oh, you forgot it was a Christmas film. Oops. Overall, I'd say this film is a huge yes. Its aesthetic is great. Its practical effects are outstanding, especially with the budget that they had. And, like, the world feels lived in and the characters are engaging. It's a great film, and I'd highly recommend it. Of course, the film isn't perfect. It's got its fair share of problems that, like, any film does. But, you know, as a sci-fi dystopian slasher home invasion flick, Christmas film, I'd say it's pretty good. Anyway, here's a fun fact to close things off. Apparently Mark Northover, Alvy's actor, applied for a job as a Mall Santa's elf, but he got turned away because they thought he would scare the kids, which makes this line in the film ever more poignant.
It's Christmas Eve, Alvy. You should know that. You used to be an elf, didn't you?
And to end off, here is a note from past me who wrote the script. It's fucking 3 AM and I'm recovering from COVID. Please kill me. And to that I say, no, I don't think I will. You die when I tell you to die. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm fucking freezing. I'm wearing shorts. Ran over. Movie. Oh, fuck me.